Buenos días.
Buen día.
Are you recording?
Siempre.
What the? You sleeping?
Come on, you knew I'd be here now. You got it? Yeah. All right. Bye.
Fragile things. Be extra careful.
All right, so we're off to my studio to start editing. And then from there, the multi-cam, multi-show editing week begins. Here we go. And here we are.
Thank you.
So we made it back to the place. He's setting up over here, just trying to get his pretty much equipment set up. Basically, we've got 1 week to do everything that we've got to do for 5 dance recitals in 1 week. We're going to edit them, produce them, get the disc printed, and just shoot it out. We've done some preliminary work, but we've got to finish the rest. And this week's all about that. So let's flash forward in time and get to production. See you in a sec. Now we're all set up. He's got his computer all set up the way it should be. And from that perspective, he's set up. I'm set up as I'm always set up on my end. And we're gonna start this editing process. Now, basically, he's got the editing setup that he needs to get this stuff done, and what we need to get done to get this project ready and going. Now, we don't have much time. It's already been a few weeks since we filmed, and not much progress, but that's what this week is for, to get it done. Now join us and see how we do throughout this week. Here we go. So here we are much later, after working a full day, basically. He's been working on DVD covers while he checks his phone. And me, what I've got going on is color correction. It's important because we shoot in log for 2 out of the 3 cameras. One of the cameras pretty much has all the saturation and contrast built into it. So what I'll do is I'll color correct the 2 log files. I'll record in C-Log and V-Log, so imagine that. I won't apply any LUTs. And what I'll use color match, and anything that has to do with the one camera, the Samsung NX1, which didn't record in log but had everything saturated, and I'll get the other 2 cameras to match that camera and pretty much get it going from there. This is day 1. Long way to go, long edits to go, and we'll just take it from there. See you tomorrow. And we're back. So the progress that we've made is pretty interesting and pretty not interesting. It's boring. We've been working for a couple of days now. It's July 4th and we still keep at it. So what I've got going on actually behind me is, if you're able to see, I'm just doing color correction and color matching, which requires a little bit more of a couple of settings that I gotta do before the color matching turns out perfectly. Because if I just hit color match and I do the log footage mixed with the actual color corrected footage to match cameras, it doesn't look good. So I've done a couple of shows already color matching, but it's literally routine by routine to try to get it as close as possible. So we also got Manny, and he's working on additional DVD covers. So what have you got going on? So the week continues. There you have it. When it's interesting because when families say that they want their DVDs or whatever turned around immediately in like a week or two, you can't blame them because everybody wants their DVDs turned around as quickly as possible. However, what you eventually end up getting with something like that is pretty much total lack of quality. So we like to throw quality in there, which requires time. And yeah, so that's it. We'll continue. Here we go. Alright, so welcome to my show. If you're new here, what I talk about is usually DSLR and mirrorless cameras for video purposes, mostly exclusively, sometimes photography, but video purposes. And then accessories, of course, which today I want to talk about the GorillaPod. So before we go on, please consider subscribing if you enjoy my stuff and catch my other videos. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This GorillaPod is used by many YouTubers, many people in the video industry because it's pretty convenient. What you're able to do with this tripod is flex the arms in it so that you can basically put it anywhere on like a steel rod, or you could put it down on a flat table if you need to. And then if you get the Joby GorillaPod with this little piece right here, you could actually adjust the head to pretty much, if you've got this sideways, you can still kind of straighten it out and get whatever creative angle that you want to get with this. I got this at B&H, but they do actually sell, at least B&H did sell this without the base, or at least without this tripod head. So it was just pretty much the legs that you'd have to put your camera on, which makes it a little bit trickier to get a level shot. So, but those are the pros, and this thing is amazing. But I want to give you guys a warning, or at least some experience on what problems this could potentially cost you. So got my GH5 here with a Metabone speed booster and a 75-300 Canon lens, and this lens was actually pretty inexpensive. A lot of people online said it was a garbage lens, but you alright over there, Manny? Yeah, he's fine. Anyway, a lot of people said this was a garbage lens, but when it comes to what I needed it for, which was long-range filming, 3.5 to 5.6 were the aperture settings of this lens, but when you put it on a GH5, it goes, with the speed booster, it goes a lot lower, and the amount of light that you're able to let it in makes it a great lens, at least for the GH5, and I got the shots I needed. But anyway, it's not about talking about the lens, it's about what I'm talking about here with this little tripod thing. Now, first warning that I want to give you when you first buy this is you've got to make sure that you are set tight, that this thing is locked on, it's not going to move on you, you have all your dials turned, it's secured. Tighten it up as much as possible, because what can happen is you may have your shot steady, like I've got it over here, but then if this is not tight, your camera falls, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure it's as tight as possible. The other thing that this could possibly cause is that, let's say you've got a steady rod, right? And then you tie this thing around the rod legs. Around the rod, and you want to have it twisted. I'll twist it around my arm right now. So I've got it up right here. I've got two legs, and I'm going to wrap the third leg around the front of my arm like this. And I think I'm pretty secure. Pretty secure. I could leave it, probably vlog on it if I want to. But what can happen is that because you've got these arms twisted all around the whatever rod that you got it on, any little shift in weight, or what can actually end up happening, is that the whole thing starts rolling forward, especially if you've got a heavy lens in front that makes it shift forward. And heaven forbid you got some sort of wall or anything right here, you're just going to have your whole thing crack on you. So a piece of advice is, especially if there's a wall or anything that can secure the rod, this forward facing rod leg, if this is a wall, put it against the wall like that. That way it's got some sort of resistance that stops it from falling forward, rather than just rolling it up on whatever arm that you've got it on. So that's another way. Those are several ways that you might break your camera because you didn't secure this appropriately. So, and one of the last ways is one of the most basic ways that you might set one of these up, which is just the three legs out. You've got the three legs out on whatever surface, particularly me is the surface this time. So I've got it out like this, but look at how the weight shifts. That could be scary. If you don't have your legs set up in the appropriate manner, this thing could fall on you. And that's what's really scary about these tripods, is that they're flexible, but that flexibility can cause issues. Now, specifically if you have a lot of weight on this thing, the legs might start to separate like that. And then before you know it, your camera comes crashing down. Just like this one did. So, please, if you get one of these Joby tripods, be very, very careful, because it can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in camera repair or camera replacement. Even, especially if you have this camera up high and then comes crashing down. And we're back after pretty much a week's worth of editing, still doing color correcting, but we got a lot done this week, and we're pretty much wrapping up on what the project is up to at this point. There's still some work to do, but for the most part, the week was very productive and we worked non-stop. So there was Manny pretty much wrapping up what he had to do, and what I have to do is still pretty much this. Anyway, that's all I got to say. If you've got any more additional comments or warnings that you might want to give about this tripod, let me know in the comments down below. As always, like, share, and you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Sorry for the late posting, been on vacation, and the vacation involved all the work that we've been doing. Because there's never a break, but it's okay. It's actually what I enjoy doing, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, and take care. Bye.